Professor Khan for Lights Out in association with Shamrock Boxing, and with me via Zoom, I'm delighted to be joined by one of my favourite prospects in boxing right now, the sharpshooter, Archie Sharp. Archie, good afternoon to you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for asking, Archie. I spoke to you at the beginning of this pandemic, the coronavirus situation, and now we're sort of coming to a stage where it's slowly quieting down. We're getting back to some sort of normality. That was about 12 weeks ago. How have you been these last 12 weeks since I last spoke to you?
Yeah, I've been very well, thank you, mate. Very well. Just cracking on, mate. Just trying to get out of this as soon as possible and get back to some normality.
Mm. And of course, I've seen a couple of clips of you over social media, back into training, back into the gym. What's the latest in terms of your next fight? Has there been any updates? Because the last time we heard from you, you were supposed to be on the Dubois Joyce undercard. There's been no sort of rescheduled date for that. Has there been any sort of update?
No, do you know what? I know as much as you, to be honest with you, mate. I've kind of said stay ready for the end of July, which I'm doing. Whether it comes before or after, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, mate. I'm just making sure now that I'm in a good position, ready for when the call happens. And also opponents. It's hard really to get the right opponent, to get opponents in as well.
Yeah, of course, I could imagine, especially with what's been going on. You're usually used to fighting like overseas fighters, and a lot of people are going to be sort of like hesitant to come over now doing the traveling side of it due to the coronavirus.
Exactly that. And I think the thing is, I find a lot of people who are obviously keen to fight, but when you're in the position where they might be keen to fight, no worries, because obviously they can see what's at stake. You know what I mean? Number 3 in the world, belts at positions at stake. So it's all right for them to everyone want to say, but I want a risky fight as well, where I can get good rewards from it myself. So it's just trying to get the right fights, because whatever risks I take, I want rewards for after. As you can imagine, been a pro now for what, 4 or 5 years. I've done my apprenticeship. I'm climbing the ladder. I'm in a very good position. So yeah, it's just about being clever and getting the right fights ready to build me for this big world title fight that I'm chasing.
When you talk risky fights, I mean, is it fair to say that you're talking about the guys that still, British domestic wise, or perhaps maybe instead of a British domestic fight, perhaps someone in the top rankings? I mean, I know you've mentioned Oscar Valdez a few times.
Yeah, but like you said, they're overseas fighters, so I'm not going to get the Oscar Valdez fight at the minute. Especially, like I say, it's hard because the likes of Barrett, Kakachi, all these fights, no one's going to want to be fighting these fights behind closed doors because they're such big fights. But it's not going to draw any crowd. Do you know what I mean? So it's like I say, it's a very hard and awkward position to be in at the minute with the boxing side, because these big fights that you want to happen, we want them as well as a fighter, but also it'd be nice to have the crowds. You know what I mean?
You mentioned Zelfa Barrett. Obviously, before the whole pandemic sort of kicked in, he jumped over to Matchroom. So you're with Frank Warren and Queensbury Promotions. Does that fight become a lot more difficult to make now going forward in both your careers? Because
I done a Zoom call. I done a Zoom call with Zelfa and Coogan actually, and I think he's on his own path. I'm on my path at the minute. He knows what he knows. Obviously, me being number 3 in the world, he can see what I'm trying to do. I want to get the world title shot. And like he said, I'll go and win a world title shot. Why not bring it back to the UK and give the UK the big fights over here? I'm literally a stone throw away from being in that world title fight. So it makes sense for me and him to get that fight on. Once one of us, like I say, if I go and win a world title and whatever he does in the meantime, it'll be more at stake and it'll be a UK fight. So these fights will happen, like we've said. He keeps dominating what he's doing, I'm dominating what I'm doing, and obviously we're going to end up meeting at some point.
If tomorrow Frank Warren was to come up to you and say, right, Archie, you're getting to choose your own fighter, your next opponent at any venue for your next fight, and 100% it's going to happen, who would it be? Because everyone talks about the domestic side of the super featherweight division. They also talk about the world honors, but you know, as you said, you're chasing your own goals, your own aims, and your own dreams. So, what would it be for you tomorrow if you got to choose your own fight and whoever you could fight?
Well, Jamel Herring, obviously. I'd want to fight Jamel for the WBO world title. If Frank rings me and says, "Oh, listen, you've got to pick a fight," then Jamel Herring will be the first on the list. Obviously, making sure that the WBO is on the line.
It'd be a good fight. I mean, obviously he's scheduled to fight Carl Frampton. You're up and coming. You know, I mean, you've done very well. You're still undefeated. I believe you're 18-0. Still got the
Yeah.
WBO European title. It'd be really, really interesting. Archie, I just want to get your thoughts on what's happened in the world lately. Of course, with the George Floyd situation, we've seen endless amount of protests. We saw some disturbing scenes in London, which I know where you're from over the weekend. What's your whole take on what's going on right now?
What happened to the man is very, very tragic. It's horrible, and I think the police officer who obviously done that is, I believe he's been arrested and he's been charged. So the best thing for him really, what it was disgusting. And to be honest with you, look, I've got a lot of black friends, and I can see what their point of protesting. I just don't agree with all the violent protesting that's going on out there regarding if they're white or what. Do you know what I mean? Whatever colour you are, I don't agree with all the violent attacking the police officers, smashing things up. There's ways to be to protest. Look at back in the day with Muhammad Ali when he protested. He done it in the most in the perfect way. Do you know what I mean? Using their brain and not so much violence. And I kind of like to say I understand people's frustration and what their message are trying to get across. Totally understand it, and I'm all for it. I just feel like some people out there are not really protesting at the minute now. They're starting to turn it into a violent act, and I just don't really agree with that, to be honest with you. Like smashing your own streets up and that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you agree, but smashing your own streets and robbing shops and things like that, I just don't really agree to that, to be honest with you.
I've always believed if you're going to protest, do it in a peaceful and respectful manner. There's no need to bring violence into it. And obviously, we sort of seen this type of situation, I believe, back in, it was 2011, in riots that went on for a very, very long time. Do you think that you could see the situation sort of getting worse, or do you think we'll sort of get some sort of like peace to it now?
Well, the thing is, like you said, it's hard really because it's an hard really to talk about, because for me, I don't look at anyone based and judge people based on their colour and skin. I don't know how if people out there are doing that. They're very small-minded people to judge people on their colour. Do you know what I mean? I don't, because like I said, I've got loads of friends, and I wouldn't ever judge people on what they believe or what colour they are. Do you know what I mean? And that's how the world should be. It shouldn't base people on their colour. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping things start to calm down, and like I say, a lot of protesting that's going out there it has been peaceful. It has been peaceful, of course, but there are the odd few that are just causing neighbourhood violence. And yeah, it's just not a good time, really, is it? It's not a good time. Hopefully, it can get sorted very, very soon. It's like I say, it's a very hard subject to talk about.
Being like a boxer, you know, a recognizable boxer like yourself, you obviously have to, react in some sort, in a manner where that, you know, you're a role model, not to the older generation, but also to the younger kids that are coming up. Even if they take the route into boxing or take a different route, it's still your job at the end of the day to be a role model to the younger generation. Now, a guy that's come under a lot of scrutiny because of what he said in one of these protests is Anthony Joshua, who is a massive in boxing.
He's a prick, mate. Like me, funny. Listen, if you're reading anything, yeah. If you're giving me something to read, I'll read, and the higher profile that man's got, you read it first. Yeah, you read it first. He's saying, "Oh, I'm reading someone else's script." Yeah, read it first and get the message what you want properly. Yeah, because what he said at the start come across terrible, mate. All he's gone and done there is add fuel to the fire, in my eyes. And I think he should be more clever than that. He's got better people around him, and they should have pulled him on that. Because now it don't look good, mate, in my personal opinion.
would you say like that I mean, I know obviously he read it off a script, but because of like where he is right now, because of all the massive sponsorship deals he has behind him, do you think not only yourself, but you think a lot of people have lost him now?
Yeah, well, like I say, what he said about I can't remember the words. That is hit them where it hurts or something, and not buy it out of their shops. See, to me, hearing that, basically saying don't buy out of white people's shops. That's how that come across to me, and he's saying it didn't. But listen, see my children, yeah. They, like I said to you earlier, I've got a lot of black friends. That's like me telling my children don't buy out of black people's shops. That's how that come across to me. And I would never dare do that to my children. They would never ever learn. They would never hear anything of the sort like that because I'm such against racism. And I think Joshua, regardless if he's reading a script or whatever he was doing, he should read it first before he, especially like I say, talking about this sort of this topic is very, it's a very it's a hard subject to talk about. Do you know what I mean? You gotta be like Joe, careful what you say, like because like I say, you should. The amount of like you think how many different beliefs, like religions, and like I say, white people, black people, Asian people that have spent money to watch Anthony Joshua, and he's gonna say something stupid like that. In your opinion, how would you have took what he said? In your opinion,
I mean, honestly, looking back on it, I thought it was not the right thing to say, because of the public figure that he is, and I think that he's lost a lot of respect in the with the public. And I think, listen, we're all entitled to an opinion. Everyone's got.
Yeah, of course.
You have to remember when you're a figure like Anthony Joshua, whatever you say, it could be taken in the right way, it could be taken in the wrong way. But I think to say something along the lines of "don't shop in a certain man's shop because of so and so," it's really disrespectful. But again, I mean, reading it off a script, as you just said, he should have looked at that script and thought, "Wait, hold on a second. I could turn around and say this. I could well and truly believe in it, or I couldn't." But if I say this, a lot of people are going to jump on it straight away. I would like to see him come out and have his say on it because I do believe, he needs to have his say on it. But at the same time, it brings a lot of upset. Not only just in like the white community, but also the look at that, different types of races look at that, and they're going to feel very disrespected by it.
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, it's just like them couple of words that you said, hit them where it hurts and don't shop in their shops. Like, to me, like what I don't understand what you mean by that, mate, because I know he said after about everyone sticking to their own communities and things like that. All right, fair enough. I understand what you're saying there. But like I say, see, for me, I don't judge people and look at people based on their colour. I'm sorry. So I don't do that. In the day, if you're a nice person, then you're my friend. That's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, it's a very delicate subject, and race plays a massive part. And look, I mean, Anthony Joshua, I have the utmost respect for his achieved in boxing and what he's done for British boxing as well. He's a tremendous fighter. He's a credit to not only boxing in the UK but also the world of boxing. But I just do hope that he can come out and he can, tell us why he said those things. A lot of people have taken it the wrong way, and I can see your reaction to it is obviously you seem angered by it. I feel a bit disrespected by it because of Asian background as well. But like I said, I don't know. It's just not falling right with a lot of people. But your opinion obviously means more to me than my opinion. But I mean, looking back at it, it wasn't the right thing to say.
Like I say, I just feel like all you've gone and done there by saying them sort of words. You've just shown, like you say, you're a public figure. Amount of kids that look up to Anthony Joshua, and he's saying, "Don't buy in their shops." Well, what do the young kids, the young white kids think of that? What do the young black kids, young Asian, what? Do you know what I mean? What would they think of that? All he's done is just add fuel to the fire instead of trying to beat the problem. All he's done is literally just, like I say, I can't. I'm just shocked how someone that sort of that much in the public eye is that stupid to come out with something like that without thinking and looking through it. Because it just angers me because I would never ever say, like I say, I would never tell my children never to buy out of an Asian shop. I would never tell my children to buy not to buy out of an Asian. I would never tell them not to buy out of a black person's shop. I would never do it. Do you know what I mean? I would never do it because that's how much against racism that I am. So yeah, for him for saying that, I think especially reading the script, I just think he should have done a little bit more research and read through what he was going to say before going to say it publicly to loads of people.
I did a podcast the other day, and it was on the same day after that they announced Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, and someone on my podcast turned around and said because of like the hammering Anthony Joshua's taken throughout the whole week, he said that he reckons that they only announced that fight to sort of like brush aside what he said at that speech. Do you think that's
Wouldn't surprise me?
do you
Wouldn't
think
surprise me?
do you think that's
Yeah, wouldn't.
announced the fight?
I wouldn't. To be honest with you, like I say, me personally, I do, but like Frank and them, Frank, Eddie, have done very well. But obviously, the main man, like the key to the door, in my opinion, is Daniel Kinahan, who's gone through and made that fight happen. I think they've done a tremendous job, and it's a great fight for the UK and the world boxing scene. But timing, yeah, like you say, he's just gone and done something like that, and I don't know, mate. It's just, there's going to be a lot of opinions about it, but we just have to see, regardless of if it's the right time or not the right time. It's about time. Do you know what I mean? I know Fury and MTK have wanted this fight for a very long time, and I personally believe Anthony Joshua hasn't wanted this fight. Maybe it's probably given him a kick up the arse for, better give the fans something now, because obviously he's stupid speech.
Why do you think he hasn't won this fight?
Because I think he knows, like, he just knows, doesn't he, that Fury's just going to fool him. Like, Fury will just make him look very, very average. Very average.
It's an interesting fight. I speak to a lot of people behind the money side of it was going to be the biggest stumbling. I just want to get your thoughts on something. You're a professional boxer yourself. I don't know how the money works in boxing. I know all about 50-50 splits and the A side and the B side, but before Tyson Fury was WBC and Ring Magazine champion, let's just say he wasn't the WBC and Ring Magazine champion right now, and that fight was scheduled to happen, would you still believe it should have been a 50-50 split without those belts that Tyson Fury holds right now?
Yeah, because I personally believe he was wrongly stripped with them belts.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think they should have stripped him for them belts. The fellas, do you know what I mean? He went through a very hard time. He done something very well. If I'm correct, didn't they? What was the reason again? They said they stripped his belt for.
I think the IBF, he was stripped a few days after he won it against Klitschko, and I believe obviously he then had an ankle injury leading up into the Klitschko rematch, and then I think that's why they just completely stripped him of his belts. That's what I think.
Yeah. I just feel like with Fury, he's been very wrongly treated. But like I say, by taking the belts off of him, he's a great fighter, a great champion. Yeah, so 50-50, I don't know, without the belt. So it's just an hard one because, like I say, the man is a legend. So why not? Why not a 50-50?
I need to ask.
But I think he was saying 70-30 though. I'm sure AJ was saying he ain't having it unless it's 70-30.
Well, so it's clearly not proven to be the case now because obviously it's a 50-50 split. They both hold all the marbles, and I think with how Tyson Fury's return to boxing, not just obviously in what he's achieved in the ring, but if you look at his profile, how massively it's risen. Even I have to say it's a fight that has to be a 50-50 split. Archie, just want to get your thoughts on the boxing return that took place last week. Bob Arum shows. We saw some good prospects and we saw some big fighters in terms of Shakur Stevenson and Jesse Magdaleno. What's your take on boxing without the fans? What did you make of those two shows? And obviously we've got one scheduled for later on tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be very different, obviously, because it's what we're entertainers. You know what I mean? We're in the sport for entertaining the fans, and the fans definitely do get behind us fighters when we're in the fight. So yeah, of course. But this is another test for a lot of athletes, a lot of fighters, to see if they can put on their A game without any fans there. Do you know what I mean? It's a big test.
He's a fighter that's moving up, and I actually do think that he might even perhaps jump up to super featherweight one day. What do you make? And is that a fight you would entertain?
Who's Shakur Stevenson? I think he's at 130 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if that featherweight is looking for the Santa Cruzes and the Warringtons, you know, a lot of people say he could clean up there, and that he might even consider moving up to super featherweight one day.
Yeah, 100%. It'd be lovely if he does. Do you know what I mean? We'll get them fights on, because I know he's saying that he can't get the fights, but I'm one of them people that'll jump in there with Shakur any day of the week. It's not a problem. So if he comes up to 130, then even better. Lovely. Let's get that fight on as well.
What do you make of the whole claims of that he can beat Josh Warrington? It'd be too much for Josh Warrington. Listening to obviously people's opinions on it, and of course everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but they do make Shakur Stevenson out to be the next big thing. He is a fantastic fighter, really talented. You know, it's nice watching him. You know, what do you make of that, Archie? If he does get in the ring with Josh Warrington?
Tough question, but Josh Warrington's a very good fighter. I just think skills pay the bills for that fight. To be honest with you, I just think the skills pay the bills. He's a big fighter, Shakur, to Josh Warrington. So maybe I think he'd outbox Josh.
Archie, yeah, definitely fight. I'd love to see. Before we bring the interview to an end, is there anything you'd like to add?
No, all good. I hope everyone's all well. Everyone's keeping safe, and hopefully I can have some news very soon and getting back into the ring and putting a performance on for everyone.
Well, hopefully we'll be there fight week with a camera face-to-face interview, because these Zoom phone call interviews, they're not hard to arrange. But I just want to thank you for your time as always, mate.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, Archie, we look forward to speaking to you during fight week.
Yeah, look forward to it, mate, and I hope to see you soon. Yeah.
Thank you, Archie. Be well. Take care of the family. Look after yourself, and we look forward to catch up with you soon.
I will do. God bless. Take care.
Bye, Archie.
Bye, mate. Bye.